People, we are a week away from Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. 2. I should really say Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn 2. We will be doing this day next week a live watch along. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be doing it in this flat, the first one in this flat, and it's for a big fight. I am massively looking forward to this fight. It was a great fight first time around. I have no reason to doubt that it'll be anything other than a good fight this time around as well. They're doing the proper media stuff this week as well. You know, the grand arrivals on Tuesday, the public workout. I'm going to try and get to the press conference on Thursday. So there's a lot of good stuff happening this week with regards to this fight. Before I carry on, if you could just look there on screen, if you wouldn't mind just considering, please, hitting the like, hitting the subscribe, hitting the notification bell. It truly does help me out when you guys do that. It recommends the channel a lot more, helps me get seen. We want to get to 30k subs as quick as we can. Conor Benn this week has been posting a lot of pictures, gym pics, and people he's been sparring. Troy Williamson, obviously being one of them. I talked about that in a separate video. It's a decent sparring partner, but he is not Team Eubank, but affiliated with Team Eubank in terms of his manager. So maybe it wouldn't have been my pick for a sparring partner personally, even if it was a good style. You just don't want anyone who's even remotely associated with the team to get any insight. But he's posted a pic as well here of himself with Ishmael Davis. Now, Ishmael Davis, this is from Boxing News, said sparring Conor has been excellent. The output is crazy. It's fireworks. I can imagine. I'd love to be a fly on the wall to see those two spar. That would be epic. But both guys are fighting on this respective show, Ishmael Davis and Conor Benn. Ishmael Davis is fighting on this. Yes, I'm pretty sure he is. He's fighting Sam Gilly. In fact, definitely he is. I expect Ishmael Davis to win that fight, to be honest with you. I thought he was a bit... Ishmael Davis has had bad luck, to say the least. Short notice against Josh Kelly. Could have won that fight on a full camp. Boachuk is just world level. There's a big jump. And yeah, Kevin and Jago, that could have went either way. And it was in Belfast. So there you go. But I've never been impressed with Gilly, so he should get the job done there, to be honest with you. But looking at them both standing here, right? They're both in tremendous shape. But Conor Benn in particular, he is looking massive. And he's looking lean as well. But it does kind of show the difference between a real natural 147 pounder, which I know Conor Benn, if he ever, because I say if, because we talk about Conor Benn as the welterweight, right? That's what we consider Conor Benn a welterweight. In fact, early on in his career, there was talk that he might, very early on, I'm talking about the first couple of fights, there was talk that he may fight at 140 pounds. He ultimately decided, no, do 147 pounds, and that's where he stayed up until we obviously had the situation in 2020. Well, actually, it was even before that. He actually fought Chris Van Heeden. That was the last time he fought at welterweight, nearly 4 years ago now. Crazy. We consider him still a welterweight, even though he hasn't fought at that weight division for years, and he may never because it's been so long without having to make that weight. But when we see him here, he is looking so much bigger in terms of just his shoulders, his legs, everything, but he looks in phenomenal shape. Conor Benn, whatever you want to say about him, whether you like or dislike his personality, some like it, I'm not particularly one of them, but some really don't like it, to be honest with you, but some do, and anyway, whatever you want to say about that. But he is a consummate professional, as is Chris Eubank Jr., to be fair. They're both consummate professionals, they're both in the gym, and Conor Benn looks absolutely in shape there. Having said that, right, it really does show, because when you look at the pic, and I've already probably put it up on the screen, Ishmael Davis looks so much bigger. And apologies if you can hear that outside. There's nothing I can do about that. Ishmael Davis just does look bigger. You really do see the difference between a natural 154 pounder, and obviously Ishmael Davis is having to cut weight to get to that weight, and Conor Benn, who realistically is a blown up welterweight. Realistically, you really do see the natural size difference. I mean, Ishmael Davis looks way bigger. And Conor Benn is going to be fighting at the weight above, which is crazy. It is going to be an interesting fight. We look at this fight from the outside looking in, and we say Chris Eubank Jr. probably is the favourite based upon the first fight. But then there's questions about, can he do the weight correctly? Is it going to be okay? Because it was a bit of a struggle last time. Is he going to be okay doing the weight again? And the rehydration clause. What is the deal with that? Because going into the first fight, we were hearing a lot about the rehydration clause, this, that, and the other. We haven't really heard that much about it. We really haven't. And you know, people are saying Eubank Jr. is not going to adhere to it. And to be honest with you, I don't think he should. I think he won the first fight, so he shouldn't have been in place for the first fight anyway. There's no title on the line. So why in God's name is there a rehydration clause? I don't think he needs to. I think that that's just completely unnecessary. I'm against rehydration clauses in general, even if it's a world title on the line. I don't think they don't have any place in boxing. I don't think they're needed. So it's going to be interesting with that. But we have to ask questions about Conor Benn as well, because at the end of the day, he is still fighting arguably 2 weight divisions too heavy. He took a lot of punches in that first fight. People are saying, oh, he's not rattled. Listen, Conor Benn, if you go and look at that face-to-face, yes, he's clear. Everything Eubank said, he bit on. You know, someone who's not rattled. Like, Conor Benn is an emotional character. We get that. He fights off emotion. He really does. He's very much like his dad in that sense. Nigel was like that. Conor's very much like that. But the problem with that is, you know, fighters who are very emotional, they burn energy very quick. He's taken a lot of punches. Like, he took so much punishment in that first year. People act as though, you know, it was the Eubank who was the one who was damaged. And yeah, he did. He took a beating as well. But didn't help that he was completely dehydrated and everything else. But Conor Benn took loads of shots in that first fight. We forget about that. I mean, he did lose the fight. Lest we forget. Especially in the end of the fight. I think the 12th round, he was stunned by Chris Eubank Jr. in the back end of that fight. So, Conor Benn, there's questions to be asked about him too going into this fight. There really, truly is. But one thing we can definitely say is that he is looking in phenomenal shape. And he always is. I don't know what some people are going to say. You know, is he back on the eggs and this, that, and the other? Listen, I don't know anything about that. But all I do know is the way he's looking, certainly in this pick here, he is looking in very, very good shape. And I personally am expecting a really, really good fight this coming weekend. I think it's going to be a bit like the first fight. Yes, it doesn't have that same feel to it that the first fight had, because the first fight just had that big dramatic feel to it. Everything was the egg slap. You had Eubank Sr. Will he be there? Will he not be there? And then he arrives by, you know, it was all that. It was just written like something you'd see in WWE. It doesn't have that same feel now, and I don't think there's anything you could have done with this fight to make it feel like that. I think that it was a fight that, yes, it makes sense to do it again from a financial perspective, but I think it was one of those fights that we really could argue was a one and done. It was a big event. Everyone wanted to see it. We've seen it. Now let's move on. I think that there's an element of that still surrounding this rematch. I think there is as well. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Conor Benn looking in phenomenal shape here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Until next time, people, I will leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you could, smash the like button, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. And people, until next time, as always, peace.